Councilmember Sheridan.
Thank you, Mayor Tisdale. Good evening, everyone. I am the representative for RTA. A couple of items about RTA. Steve Hemingway of the City of Riverside was appointed the new chair at our December meeting, so he will chair RTA over the course of the next year. There was a Budget and Finance Committee meeting on January 8th. I was back east. I was unable to attend. The regular meeting for the Board of Directors is on January 23rd, and I will be at that meeting, and I'll report at the subsequent council meeting about what happened at the regular Board of Directors meeting. Next slide, please. On behalf of Habitat for Humanity Inland Valley, I would like to invite everyone to a special event honoring the extraordinary legacy of President Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalind. Their volunteerism with Habitat for Humanity has transformed communities worldwide and inspired countless individuals to serve. On Friday, January 24th at 9 a.m. at the Habitat for Humanity Inland Valley Design Center, which is in Temecula at 28410 Vincent Moraga Drive, they are going to have an event to honor President Carter and Mrs. Carter. At this event, you'll have a chance to sign a symbolic door representing how the Carter's efforts opened doors for thousands of families to build or renovate homes since 1984. The event will also feature an open forum to share reflections on their lasting impact. RSVs can be sent to Casey at habitattiv.org, and let me spell that. It's KASEY at HABITATIV.org. Just one more time, Casey, KASEY at habitattiv.org, HABITATIV.org. President Carter and Rosalind truly demonstrated their amazing lives by volunteering for Habitat for Humanity. And again, thanks to their leadership, nearly 5,000 families became homeowners, and their work continues to inspire everyone with Habitat for Humanity. And we would love to have you there to help celebrate their lasting legacy. And again, that is going to take place on Friday, January 24th, 9 a.m. at the Habitat Inland Valley Design Center, which is in Temecula. Next slide, please. MSJC is going to have a gala, which will take place on Friday, April 18th at 6 p.m. They're going to call it Through the Looking Glass. Proceeds will support expansion of higher education opportunities here in Southwest Riverside County. We will have more information about this as time goes on. It will be taking place at Pechanga. So again, save the date. That's going to be a terrific event, Friday, April 18th at 6 p.m. Finally, I want to take a moment of personal privilege to say hello to my mom and say I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Councilman Reynolds.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. We're going to start off with the Riverside County Airport Land Use Commission meeting. We had two meetings between our last meeting and this one. No real reportable action. The Riverside County Airport Land Use Commission largely considers land use applications in other cities and in the county in areas that are surrounding airports. We protect people from airports and airports from people is what we like to say, taking into consideration things like airport noise and pollution, glare from solar panels and issues like that. So nothing that impacted the city of Lake Elsinore. We did lose our vice chair, Russell Betts, who was not elected mayor in his city. And so we will be considering a new member in the not too distant future. Next slide, please. So many of you out there experienced a public safety power shutoff. And this was, I think, something that we really haven't experienced at this particular length or breadth before. Pretty much most of the city was without power for an extended time period, so long that we had a number of issues throughout the city, including traffic signals having gone down, battery backups going away, lots of calls for service, fielded lots of complaints. My phone died at some point and we lost food. So I know that's a story with a lot of other people. You had mentioned this, our speaker spoke to this earlier. Yesterday and the day before Sunday, there was kind of an emergency last minute meeting conference call that was called together. Southern California Edison's CEO and several other high level managers opened up a Teams meeting for elected officials, which was attended by almost 300 individuals from places as close to as Malibu, all the way down to deep in Riverside. And I would say that the first meeting could be described as contentious. People were obviously upset. There are a number of Southern California Edison customers that were without power for 5 and 6 days, some with very little notice, and there were all kinds of problems, some of which were discussed and acknowledged, include the outage map, which was not up to date and not updated accurately in any way, shape, or form, the lack of notification, lack of transparency, and essentially a lack of a plan moving forward on how to prevent this in the future. The representatives, some of which were state elected officials from their legislature, offered support. Tell us what you need. Southern California Edison will make it happen. And that there was very little discussion as far as that. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of pushback as far as that goes. But what came of it was these public safety power shutoffs are going to continue into the future. I don't see any short-term fix in Southern California Edison. As a matter of fact, yesterday their stock dropped off 13% as they're under consideration for one of the LA fires, the Eaton fire right now. They're under consideration for being the cause of that, which may have what prompted all of these extreme outages. So I believe that their conduct is not just a public safety effort, it's a risk mitigation standpoint. They have shareholders to take into consideration. I made several comments, some of which were the outage map needed to disclose that it's only being updated 2 and 3 times per day. It's not a live map, as it might indicate when it says that it is up to date as of the time that you're logging in. And that I think most of us take that as that is a live update. This is what's happening as of the second. That's not accurate. They only had somebody who was updating that map 2 or 3 times per day. So that's one thing. The other suggestion I made was that they indicate when the power is shutting off, what the period of concern time period, beginning and end date is, a date and time, because what they do is they wait for the winds to die down and then go out and check the lines. And that can take up to 8 hours per circuit. And that means they have kind of an estimated time frame for that, how that's going to happen. In addition, they also have little weather condition measuring monitors on the power lines themselves every several miles. So sometimes there's a prediction of winds and the weather monitors indicate that the winds are actually moving faster. And they indicated that 35 miles per hour sustained is when they shut off the power lines. 50 mile per hour gusts are the other times that they would go ahead and deactivate a circuit. So those are all challenges. Interesting to note, and I also made mention of this, Riverside Public Utility did not power off or de-energize any of their power lines. That is the City of Riverside Public Utility. They basically run their own power. And so, that's interesting to know, right? I couched it in a way where it was, hey, maybe we can learn something from the public utility company. Maybe they're doing something that Edison's not. That suggestion didn't go over well. The point is that we need to be prepared. I think there needs to be a little bit more transparency with respect to what the expectations are. I would strongly advise people to be prepared. Be prepared for outages when the winds blow. The state has a lot of problems. Some of it's just caused by political mismanagement, quite frankly. And they're not going to go away easily or soon because they didn't happen easily or quickly. So be prepared. Go out and get a generator. Consider a solar panel array with a battery backup. Look for ways of going ahead and protecting yourself because I don't think Edison's going to go ahead and they're going to err to the side of caution. So with that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you. Good evening. Happy New Year as well. Actually, I'm glad Councilmember Monos brought up Edison. I think like all of us, we fielded lots of questions we couldn't answer. So the one thing I would like to do is to ask our city manager, what can we do to hold Edison accountable for some transparency? Because if you just listen to that, you don't have any hope for what's to come as for safety and what to do to plan for your home. So what can we do?
Yeah, in a practical sense, we're going to help clarify for everyone that the city has no control over the power outage. It's purely in the hands of CalISO and Edison and CalISO lets Edison do what they need to do or believe that they need to do. The concerns that we have is, Steve had mentioned, I might maybe in a more practical sense is when they shut off circuits, it shut off hundreds of traffic signals and created chaos. And we experienced that here. At my own home where I live, power was out for 3 days. And they turned it back on and they were sent another email that we're going to shut it off again in 2 hours. And they didn't end up doing that again, but the messaging kind of changed tenor and tone after I'd sent a message to them. But we are working with them. We've engaged them on improving their protocols to consider other things. And I get the wind issue and, the fire, how quickly the fire spread. But we also want to make sure that we don't just shut off full grid, shut off all of our main infrastructure. And also I had to help some families that had ventilators or medical equipment where they were already flagged to not be shut off. And they were for 2 days. And so they had to make arrangements. And so we are engaging them for the effort to get improved protocols and to have them think a little smarter and harder about how to do that because they can reroute power. It's a matter of wanting to do that. So if they have a really high risk area they're concerned about, they can certainly reroute and not worry about some of those facilities if they do get impacted. So to me, there's more to be done, and we're going to engage them, even if the sentiment is, not good. And they're a very large agency, but I think them having the call that they did, I believe, last night, gives me a little bit of hope because they're wanting to engage. But we're going to try and hold them accountable at a staff level. And then as staff is going through that, then we'll reach out to you as a council body, see if there's anything you want to do. And also we've engaged the county as well, working with them. So with that, if you have any questions, happy to answer anything.
All right, thank you. I think we would all just appreciate to be updated as we work through it from an accountability standpoint, because to Councilmember Monos's point, this was just the beginning of what they've shown us they will do. So I think there's a fear of what does it look like, and I don't know how to prepare our residents for that. So if you could keep us updated, that would be great. All right, I'll move to my first slide this evening. I have the Homeless Task Force updates. This includes as we're in a new year, our numbers are going to be all, this is the December, so it'll be the wrap. And then every month we do report out. And I know, I got some feedback. We had our task force meeting for December and some feedback that these numbers, I think people are just not sure what these numbers actually mean. So there's two things we're reporting here. One is the street outreach, which is our street outreach team that's done on a daily basis, but there's actually a coordinated effort in what we call the trifecta effect of it's our RSO, our quality of life team, our set team, our code enforcement, and our street outreach from SWAG. They come together and they plan morning and night events where they go out and they do all their street outreach. Now, SWAG is doing that daily, but when we get all three of them together, these are the numbers we're reporting from that trifecta. So contacts made were 33. People ask me all the time, are those new people or what kind of contacts are there? Anytime they make contact with an individual that doesn't have a roof over their head, that's considered a contact because they're put into the delayed entry system program. And we have to track all of that. We do have what we consider new homeless, meaning we don't have any relationship, no contact, nothing in the system. There were 5 new folks. And this is fairly low numbers, although they're the real numbers, they're fairly low for this time of year because the holidays, we tend to see a spike. Things get really hard, but it also is very cold this year here. So I think we're seeing, the effects of all of that. The number that I'm always really excited to report, it was a little bit low for the month of December, which is mental health services, because we know that this is something that is really hard to give people and get them connected. Once they say yes to help, getting them mental health services is very challenging. So the fact that we had 2 is great, but I'd like to watch that number continuously improve over this upcoming year. So year-to-date exits for the entire year of 2024, I'm going to jump to that number, and that's 179, meaning 179 folks said yes to help. It's an interesting number to me because we don't even have that many homeless. And I know people are like, no, we have thousands of homeless. No, we don't. We have a lot of homeless folks that are being moved around constantly because our quality of life, our code enforcement, they're constantly pushing. And so people are seeing them in your day-to-day, your drives, where you retail, where you're patroning businesses. We have anywhere on average from 100 to 160 homeless folks. When I say that number to you, that's what we consider our chronic homeless, meaning they have been homeless for, a year or more. That's what we consider chronic homeless. We don't have a lot of new homeless, meaning I just became homeless, because I promise you, those people are helped right away because we know what this lifestyle leads to. And the faster we can get to them, the better. But the chronic homeless, there aren't a lot of them. They're just really comfortable in the life they lead. They choose this life. So that's why these contacts are really important. It's why we're going to continue. We started the task force in 2018. It's 2025. I feel like, are we ever going to get there? I don't think we're ever going to end homelessness, but we're doing a really good job of managing it. So I'm going to take a minute to tell our team thank you. I know that this is a lot of thankless work and people just are complaining. So the year was incredible. To wrap up that year, we are next week going to do what they call the point in time count. It is done by the county. It's where we get up at dark 30 in the morning. There's lots of volunteers. We meet here. We go out and the county does a point in time count. At that time, how many homeless individuals do you have in your zip code or your boundaries? We don't focus on this number, but we need this number for reporting. So if this is something you're interested in, we'll have it on our website. You can register, you can come down, you can be a part of the process. We'll keep you posted on what that official number is. But remember, that's just on one day in the month of January at 6 a.m. What does our homeless population look like at that time? So we'll keep you posted. All right, my next slide is save the date for my golfer extraordinaire up here, Mr. Sheridan. Please save the date if you haven't already. Cops for Kids is doing their golf classic on May 2nd. They have a new location this year. It'll be at Glen Ivy Golf Club. There is more information on social media and the website. My last slide is yesterday was a very difficult day for the law enforcement family in our community. It was the passing and remembrance of end of watch for Deputy Darnell Calhoun. January 13th this year marks 2 years of his tragic murder. That's what it was. And we are pictured. You will see that the family went out and paid respect, and I mean his RSO family. And I know that there was some dedication, honor, and tribute at the station. So we made a promise to never forget. We won't forget. We know it was a tough day for our folks, and we are remembering with you. So I just want to say with that, good night and God bless. Please be safe.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem McGee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Last week, the Riverside County Transportation Commission issued a call for projects for bicycle and pedestrian improvements under the SB 821 law. This, our city has been very, very fortunate in winning these bids over the course of the last several years. And we have turned this into a children's safe to school program, building sidewalks in areas of our community that were passed by. And so I'm staring at our city engineer, knowing that he is going to file a bunch of applications next month and that we will be successful. Next item is the Sports Car Club of America's San Diego chapter will be back here at Diamond Stadium on the 1st and 2nd of February. The auto racers love the cooler weather. You will see them down there almost every weekend. In fact, the weekend after this, on February 8th, the Los Angeles chapter of the Sports Car Club of America will be at Diamond Stadium as well. And with that, just like to ask you to keep the fire victims in your prayers, and I yield the floor.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to just start off by just a little bit, I know we mentioned Edison and some other stuff. Chief Reed, do you mind coming up just for a second? And then just talk a little bit about kind of what's going on with the fire, because the County of Riverside's Emergency Operations Center has been active since the winds started. A lot of the cities have gone on watch, like Elsinore was on watch, so everyone was monitoring that. And of course, obviously, when there's a big fire and stuff, we send resources kind of all over the place. But I just want to make sure that everyone realizes that the state of the county and the city, and I'll just turn it over to you.
Yeah, so the county right now, as it sits, we've sent out over 35 engines to assist our partners, our brothers and sisters in LA. We've sent out over 6 dozers, multiple crews, and over 100 overhead. With that, we brought in fire engines, dozers, and crews from out of state to come down here and pre-position in anticipation of the wind events that we've been having for the last 2 weeks. By no means are we downstaffed at all. We are fully staffed and overstaffed for the winds and for the anticipation of anything that may happen during the next 2 days. Winds are supposed to carry through until tomorrow morning. In reference to LA, I've spoken with City Manager Jason Simpson this morning. Right now, we're looking at a total of 10 to 15,000 homes lost. And what you see on the news is we're sending a lot of USARs. So like the city of Altadena, a much older population. A lot of those older populations don't have family that are reporting them missing. So right now it's going to be a long drawn out task. Our incident management team is looking at a 21-day rotation. The ex-fire chief here, Lonnie Olson, is actually the acting IC of the Palisades fire. So it's going to be a long drawn out process of going from house to house of those rubbles, searching with K9 dogs, searching with our urban search and rescue teams, and doing body recoveries. So by no means are we out of the woods. This fire danger is going to last for all the way in through next week. The winds will die down this week. However, we're at low relative humidities. The fuels are dry. We don't have any rain. So it's just not looking good for us right now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chief. Thank you for your update.
Sure.
So again, if you want more information, you can go to Lake Elsinore webpage, lake-elsinore.org, or you can go to the county's website. It's the rivcoready.org and get information on stuff like that. And just a reminder, again, a lot of people lost a lot of things. If we're going to give, make sure you give it to, there's a lot of scams and things like this. So make sure you look at good sources like the Red Cross and some other agencies if you want to help. But please don't show up at sites or just drop stuff off, because that doesn't help either. So, all right. My first slide, please. So I just want to kind of give an update. A lot of people have asked what's going on, on Main Street and stuff like that. So as you can see, the street has already been paved. They actually got it paved before we did our Winterfest. So now they're putting in decorative intersections and other things and bollards and stuff like that. So we're estimating about another 6 weeks, and then the downtown Main Street improvements will be done. At the City Hall, if you've gone by it, you see the steel framing is up. Tonight, one of the items on the consent calendar was buying glass. So concrete's going to be poured. And in the next 3 months, you're going to see glass being installed in exterior walls. So we're getting close. It's looking really good. So I just want to throw that out there, and I'll just try to give updates when there are updates to give. So anyway, next slide, please. So Councilwoman Johnson already addressed this issue. That's okay. We share in our resources. So just remember, if you want to join us, we will be here bright and early on the 22nd. So if you want to join and help with the point in time count, we can never get enough volunteers. We have a large city. Our city is 44 square miles. But our team with Sheriff, Code, and SWAG, they know where everybody is. But we just want to make sure, because if we don't do this, then the count is tied to money. And so we want to make sure that we get out and try to get an accurate count. So I will be there. I know Councilwoman Johnson will be there. Other members. Last year, our county supervisor, Karen Spiegel, joined us. And so, again, we will be there for that. I just want to give just kind of an update. I am the representative for the Western Riverside Council of Governments. And so last Friday, city manager and I attended a strategic planning meeting. So every couple of years, it's been every year, the last two have been, we've sort of looked at the things that we do good at WRCOG and the things that we can do better, and just sort of where we're going in the future. So we just want to make sure that WRCOG has a specific mission that's focused on what we're supposed to do. Our primary mission is the TUMP program. That's our Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee. That's a fee that's on every house that's built in the city and businesses that are built, buildings that are built, and that goes to regional streets and things like that. So like, Lake Street and the off-ramp that we did, things that go into other communities, those kind of things, regional projects. So that money comes back to us. So the TUMP program up to date the city has received $55 million in TUMP money. We have the IREN program, which is an energy program of 52 cities focusing on energy efficiency. The city of Lake Elsinore participates in grant programs. So we don't have necessarily grant writers, but WRCOG has grant writers. So they've written successful grants for the city. We participate in the street light program. So the city owns the street lights. So if there's problems with the street lights or you see them flickering and stuff, call the city. Edison won't come out and fix your street lights. We own the street lights. But because we have the street light program, that has saved the city over $700,000 to date. And then they do cleanup projects and other professional development programs. And then we have a fellowship program, which the city has used. And these are, students from our own local universities that have come, and the city's actually hired them in the past. So that's a great program. So that's sort of what WRCOG does, and kind of a summary and how it's benefited the city. So we look forward to a new year with WRCOG. And again, other big projects, again, our city engineer, he's the one that sort of submits projects. He's very good at making sure that we get every dollar that we can get on many things. And so my last slide, I'd like to close it in honor of our former president. What happened there? Did somebody turn me off?
You got cut.
Am I being cut here? Am I talking too long?
No, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Somebody cut me off. Anyway. So I want to thank Councilman Sheridan. He sort of gave what Jimmy Carter was. If you've been around like some of us with the grayer hair, we lived through the Carter administration, but it's not so much the Carter administration that was so remarkable for Jimmy Carter. It's what he did after. And a lot of times you don't get that. And he was probably one of the kindest man in our country, him and his wife, and the projects and, Habitat to Humanity and many, many other things. That was just the surface. So again, he was our 39th president. And so I'd like to close the meeting in honor of Jimmy Carter, our president.